Hello and welcome again to Let's Play Shadows of Bob, and this is Policy of Madness. Last time we picked up the Ring of Gax, which is the best ring in the game. It says that the ring has 9 facets on the gem, and I think this actually has 9 bonuses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it actually has 9 bonuses on it, but because there's only one of us, we can have all of these awesome things to ourselves. We don't have to share them with anyone else. So here we are in Imnesvale, and we're going to be doing some shit in Imnesvale today.
Nothing to it.
He's just making this shit up. Although, of course, he's right, because that's how shit works in games like this. Alright.
You need something, stranger?
I don't object to you just walking into my house without an invitation. We've already fought about 5 of these, or more. Very few other mages, except for like 5 that we've battled before. So this is essentially a humanoid chastity belt. Okay. I'm not a girl, but thanks.
What? If you say so.
Alright. Today I'm going to tell a little story.
Wow, an adventurer.
Real men get drunk and fumble their swords around. So you can do all these things, but we're going to be picking up the Ranger Stronghold, and I actually don't know of a way to refuse it. And we're not going to fuck with that. For the purposes of this story, we'll assume that you, listener, viewer, are a white man. You are able-bodied, middle class, you have a decent job, you're not making money hand over fist, but you're doing okay, pays bills. Just in general, when people talk about a average guy, they have somebody in mind who looks a lot like you. And you're home one Friday, and you get a call. It's your significant other. This person says, hey, I've got a movie. Gonna be ordering pizza. The only thing that's missing from this equation is you. How would you like to stop by? And if you want to, maybe you can stay the night. That sounds like a good idea to you. So you get dressed. It's a nice night out, and you live in an urban area. Okay.
Vita Mortis. Vita Mortis.
So the Shadow Fiends can't do any harm to my skeleton warriors because they're immune to normal weapons, but a fucking spotted lion apparently has magical paws. Its attack roll kind of sucks, obviously. It's not doing a whole lot of damage here, but it's hilarious. The fucking Shadow Fiends can't even touch the skeleton warriors, but a spotted lion can. Okay. Your significant other doesn't live too far from where you live, and you're both in an urban area. It's a fairly nice neighborhood, so you decide to just walk. It's a nice night. And because you know what your friend here means, you know, when they say you can stay the night, because you know that means, okay? So you put a condom in your pocket. Your significant other probably has condoms at their house, but, you know, why take the chance?
Let us speak and be done with this. I'll wipe your filthy lineage right out of the realm.
Culture, Imperium.
Plant a blade in your innards, I will. Plant a blade in your innards.
This is the one that took 8 damage from the spotted lion, which is a better fighter than these rangers.
Yes.
So let's look at the morality of what you're doing here. The morality is that there's nothing wrong at all with this scenario, not in the slightest. In fact, by some moral systems, this would actually be a positive good because you're increasing the happiness of the world. With your plan to go enjoy some pizza and a movie and possibly some sex with your significant other who's clearly into it because this person suggested it. And it's not like you're a rapist or anything, so if your significant other changes their mind midway through, you're not gonna, you know, force them into anything. You're a nice person. I'm really gonna have to assume that everybody who's watched it this far with these videos is, in general, a nice person. So there's nothing wrong with any of this. So why did I tell that story? Well, let's look at the way that this would pan out if you weren't a white man with, you know, an able-bodied white man with all the characteristics that I gave before. Let's say, for example, that you are transgender. You're a transgender woman. Yeah, deer, I don't understand the deer. They always have their heads down, except when they're running. The deer in this game, the little sprite for them is kind of sucky, in my opinion anyway. If you're a transgender woman and you're walking down the street in certain major cities, New York City comes to mind, with a condom in your pocket, you can be arrested and convicted of a crime. The crime is prostitution, because in New York City, they have a rule there that you can be arrested for prostitution even if you have not proposed to anyone.
Tell me all about it.
But the
Whatever you want.
police officer who observes you thinks that you are, quote, manifesting. If you're manifesting prostitution, then you can be arrested, convicted, without ever having propositioned to anybody. And essentially, for this conviction to occur, all that is required is for someone to think that you look like a prostitute, and for you to have a condom in your pocket. Because possession of a condom is viewed as evidence that you are attempting to engage in prostitution. Now, the thing about transgender women is that cops are largely under the impression that all transgender women are sex workers. Now, a lot of transgender women do work as sex workers because getting work in some other capacity is actually really difficult sometimes. But there are plenty of transgender women who are not sex workers. And yet, people believe, authorities believe
Nothing to it.
that all transgender women are sex workers, and as a consequence,
Whatever you want.
here's our mimic.
Vita Mortis Cario.
So it tried to glue me, but my saves are pretty good. Yeah, I can pretty much only fail save on a critical, or if a critical failure, or if the attempt to injure me is in some way has a save penalty on it.
Did that.
mimic then turns into an actual container. Now we have some mimic blood.
Yes. Of course.
Sometimes, but not always, there are... Yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Usually there's more than
If
two.
that's what you want.
Oops, don't want that. Of course, that's outrageous. That's absolutely outrageous that just being a transgender woman with a condom in your pocket is enough to get you arrested, convicted of a crime. A crime, you know, that some people think shouldn't even be a crime. But even if you think that prostitution should in fact be a
Whatever you
crime,
desire.
badly injured, okay. The way the sprite moves here, it seems like I'm whiffing a lot, but you can tell by the rolls down here that these are just, the apparent whiffs are just color, essentially. Those aren't real attacks, because I only have one attack per round. The only way I can up this is by putting on this. This improves my number of attacks. This was the main reason I went with darts as opposed to
Is that all?
knives, because there really aren't any throwing knives in the game. They're as good as this this dart. It's 1d3 plus 3. There's a boomerang throwing knife that you can get if you do not do that. I think if you don't do that guy's quest, or maybe if you do the quest, he'll give it to you. Regardless, there's a boomerang dagger, which the possible maximum damage on it, I think, is more, but you only have 2 attacks per round when you have it, and it's only a +2 weapon, so there are things that it doesn't hit. Most importantly, being the giant golems.
Tell me all about it.
Oh shit! I'm not gonna stop it from killing squirrels.
Nothing to it.
You just keep doing you. Okay.
Whatever you want.
I don't think there's any traps in here. Just picking that up is enough to update our map. We don't actually have to read it. I skip many of the entries from times and places far removed from my current worries, as opposed to this one, which I guess is completely relevant to our interests in some way. So this is flame rule. Doesn't actually say. Yeah. That was Myrtle. Here we go. Yeah, we're in Kythorn. Okay. So, strangest thing is that the bodies are disappearing in the morning. No, they just fucking eat them. Most of the larger animals have long fled, as opposed to those spotted lions and the moose. Moose are fucking huge. This afternoon. Why is this okay? Sounds like werewolves. This will also get you the map. A crude but effective map. If you pick this one up before you pick up the other one, this will also give you the map. So let's assume that instead of being a dude or a transgender woman, let's assume that you are not white.
Just ask.
White people, to a large degree, don't understand how completely different of a society black people live in. Just walking down the street as a black person, especially a black man, will get you stopped and frisked in a lot of places. You're not doing anything wrong. All you're doing is going to see a friend of yours and possibly have some consensual sex. But the authorities will harass you. If you are a woman, whether a transgender woman or any other kind of woman, transgender women face this essentially to a much higher degree than non-transgender women. But transgender women also face the same problem of guys harassing them. Just walking down the street is often enough to get you almost assaulted.
Greetings, good customer. A pearl to you.
Let's see if she has magic ammo. Nope. Well, she has bullets. We'll keep that in mind. Some guys say, well, it's you know, they're just flattering you by saying, you know, come suck my dick. That's not flattery, actually. That's a threat. I really can't emphasize strongly enough how dangerous some dudes can be.
Greetings, good customer. A pearl to you.
A lot of guys start out seemingly very ordinary, very not threatening in the slightest. And as soon as you say something to them,
What would you like?
that they don't like to hear, such as, I'm not interested in having sex with you, sometimes those dudes will suddenly turn violent. You can actually see this
I'm
happening
waiting.
with guys who are just engaging in common street harassment. Because they start out saying things like, things that apparently guys think we should consider to be flattering, like, that they want us to suck their dicks, and then when you say, I don't think so.
Nothing to it.
Anything you need, I can likely provide, I assure you.
They'll turn at least verbally violent. And sometimes this verbal violence will turn into physical violence. And it's honestly impossible to know which dudes are going to, look how much those are worth, are going to make that transition from verbal violence to physical violence until they actually do it. And I think that guys don't necessarily understand the degree to which this is a danger. You can't actually tell who those dudes are until they start to turn violent. There's no way to just look at a guy and say, ah, that guy's going to turn violent. It's not actually possible. So women who are subjected to street harassment typically will not fight back in any way, because you never know when the guy who is harassing you is going to turn out to be someone who is really violent. So women will just kind of duck their heads.
You want.
Typically, women will just kind of duck their heads.
Incorrect.
And pretend they didn't hear it.
Incorrect. Yeah,
He just watches me do this.
if you say so.
Need something, stranger?
No. Yeah, just a humanoid chastity belt.
Tell me all about it.
Hello there.
I don't know how realistic this is. We're not even consulting her. We're just assuming that she wants to be with this dude.
Hmm.
You need something, stranger?
All right.
I'm waiting.
Now we can loot his house in safety. Not that he has all that much that's worth having.
Incurtus pulcrum im.
So, not much is worth having at all. What is this? Power word sleep. You have to have less than 20 hit points. Less than 20 hit points, I can just beat you up myself with my stick. Now we gotta wait for the swords to expire. So if you were a woman instead of a man, you might think twice about your plan to just walk to your honey's house. If you are a transgender woman, you would think twice about putting that condom in your pocket. If you're a dude, you probably didn't think at all about putting a condom in your pocket. And to whatever extent you did think about it, your thought was probably, well, this is a good idea. Transgender women have a different calculus to make. And if you're black, you again might think twice about walking to your significant other's house, because the authorities are quite likely, I mean, it's not a guarantee, but you're quite likely to get harassed in between here and there. And let's say that you're in some way physically disabled. Some forms of physical disability, walking to someone's house would be quite an ordeal.
Whatever you desire.
It's not true for all forms of physical disability, but for a lot of them, that's actually how it works. It's like super hard.
Yes.
Just to have ordinary,
Is that all? Tell me all about it.
I'm not actually interested in killing the cats. They're not worth a whole ton of EXP.
No.
Here we go.
Whatever you want.
I'm still here. So be it. I am your doom.
No, you're not. He's already badly injured.
I shall So be it. I am your doom.
You're nobody's doom. This stuff isn't worth a whole lot. I've heard that monks can wear this armor, or maybe it's Keldorn's armor. One of those two is supposed to be just for the person that it's made for, but it's actually wearable by monks, as long as they have certain certain stats. So that's it for Valgar. Now what we can do is take his body back to Tulgarius, and he'll thank us for it, and
Just ask.
I don't even remember if he gives us a reward, but it doesn't matter because we're not going to do that. So now we've explored this area. Yep, pretty much.
What would you like?
What? No mech? I thought for sure a mech would show up. Oops, here we go.
Let us speak and be done with this.
Helm sees all. Know that and be judged.
I trust that all is well.
I love the music in here. Alright. This is the nature of privilege. I mean, what I'm describing here is privilege.
Whatever you want.
People hear the word privilege and they seem to think that what we're talking about is some kind of special benefit that only people with privilege get, and that's not it at all.
If you say so.
People object to that formulation of privilege because they don't feel like they have any kind of special benefit, and the reality is that they don't. Privilege is not you having some kind of special dispensation.
Greetings, good customer. A pearl to you.
It's you having completely ordinary dispensation. It's you having, I don't think we need this anymore. It's you having completely ordinary abilities, rights, capability to act that everyone should have, but not everyone does. That's what privilege is. It's not you having some kind of special special privilege. It's you having the privileges that everyone should have, but not everyone does. So nobody's asking you to apologize for your privilege. What people are asking you to do is to recognize that not everyone has the privileges that you have. That's what people who talk about privilege actually want. They don't want to cut you down. Oops, don't want to sell that. At least to the most part, they don't want to cut you down. There are people who, I'm not going to need that again. And this we're not actually using, but you notice I don't want to get rid of it. They buy scrolls? Yes. Secret word is another of those that's kind of like spell strike, except not. It's, you know, these things like minor golden vulnerability, spell immunity. The same things that spell strike gets rid of. Tensor's transformation, I think, is great if you're a fighter mage, because it kind of makes you into a fighter, but better, because you got like double hit points. If you had a, I think I have almost 100 hit points now, and if I had a fighter level that I have even more than that, then you can double that. You can get your like 200 hit points. Kind of neat. But this doesn't actually give you any extra attack, so you're a fighter. You're a fighter with one attack per round, which is not really a fighter. I have a whole lot of. I mean, look at our abilities here. That's pretty good. This is pretty good. All of our attacks, all of our attack stats are decent. I mean, a fighter at our level would have a attack of like -12 or something, but this is enough to hit just about everything in this game. And this spell would give us a bonus on that. I think it's either 2 or 4. Yeah, additional +2 damage, plus our attack would go down to that -12 that we would normally have. But the whole point of a fighter is that you can deal out damage like in insane, quantities in short periods of time. But this doesn't actually give you that ability. So.
Anything you need, I can likely provide, I assure you.
This is a spell we don't need. Enchanted weapon. If we wanted to be able to use any of these things with our proficiency not being there for them, sure, whatever. We'll go ahead and keep that. This we can't use. I don't like charm spells. So nobody's actually asking you to apologize for your privilege. What people are asking you to recognize is that not everyone has these privileges, but everyone should. I mean, how can you argue with people should, everyone should have the ability to walk down the street without being molested. Some people are molested by other people. Some are molested by people in authority. Some people can't walk down the street at all because our streets are not designed for folk who have physical disabilities, especially certain types of physical disabilities. Some types of physical disabilities are accommodated in our society better than others. But that's how privilege is. Privilege is not a matter of, look how much this is worth. Privilege is not a matter of you having some kind of special abilities. It's a question of why doesn't everyone have this ability that you have? I mean, why doesn't everyone have this ability that you have? I was keeping this oracle around because of, it's a good, we'll never use this. It's a good, detection spell before you get true sight. We don't pick up any detection spells prior to true sight. And so having those scrolls around was like an insurance. But it's not insurance we're actually needing at this point. all spell scrolls cast at level 10, and so having dispel magic around in the early game is good, but it's not going to be helpful to us at this point. Alright. Alright.
I'm waiting. If that's what you want. Whatever you desire.
Hope nobody picks those up. Hey, there's a scroll just laying around here.
Is that all?
Wonder what it is. I should just read it without identifying it or anything. I mean, I identified it. I know what it is. But I don't think that means that everybody knows what it is. Alright, so here we are at the planar sphere.
Yes.
We have the means to get in. We're going to open the door, and then that'll be it for today. A lot of people get really upset at the idea of privilege. I think mainly because they don't understand what it is.
Whatever you want.
What exactly we're talking about when we use the word privilege. So his body dissolves as the door opens before us. So next time we're going to go in here and probably do the entirety of the planar sphere. Because, well, I think it's better to do that now than later. So join me then. Later.